Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, it's Rhys. I am coming to you from the basement again. I've got a video I want to do, a review, just a down and dirty review of The Sandman, Wesley Dodds' The Sandman by Robert Venditti. Now, you guys might know Robert Venditti. I've talked about him on my show some. He did the excellent Hawkman series a few years ago that I not finished reading yet, although I did buy the whole thing. You'd go back and finish it. But this, I love Golden Age heroes. And absolutely love it. And that's one of the biggest things DC's been just sad over the last 10 years is they've really disrespected those characters. They all the way back to JSA. Jeff Johns did some really crappy stuff with it. But enough of that aside. This story, it takes place in 1940 in New York City. It's got the classic old school look of the Sandman with the gas mask and the hat, just that whole look. Sandman, the Fog of War. Anyway, I have got most of this series. I mean, I think it's a 6-issue miniseries. 5 issues or what are out that I know of right now. Maybe one waiting at the shop. I'm not sure, but this has got a pretty solid mystery story. The tone is spot on, guys. I'm telling you, man. The art, the architecture, everything. It just feels like reading the Sandman Mystery Theater stories from about 20 years ago. It's just so classic. I don't know enough. I have not paid enough attention to see if this ties in with any specific continuity, but everything is in its own self is pretty good stuff. And I have really enjoyed this book so far. So the long and the short of it is Wesley Dodds the Sandman. He is using his research into chemicals to try to build a knockout gas that can be used on a wide spread and can be distilled during wartime to knock out opposing forces. And the military is not interested. And then his sanctum sanctorum, his secret hideaway under his house, is burgled, and the whole place is lit ablaze. And so it's piecing the pieces together to get it all figured out. And I am loving it. Also, Riley Rosmo, who I'm not familiar with, I've heard the name, so I don't know, he, she, whatever, I have no idea, is the artist. And it's got this fun, cartoony style. I flipped through a few pages earlier. There's a great job of a largely talking heads stuff, right? Still looking really dynamic. It feels 1940 in the way it's laid out. Now, when I say that, it doesn't look like 1940s comic book art. That's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to say is that the nature of the pieces in it, the architecture, the clothing styles, that kind of stuff, are what hit that. But I just love the layouts. I know this is gonna be a pretty short video because I don't have a ton to say about it. But I just really enjoyed it. It's a lighter tone than I want to go back. One thing I mentioned was referencing the Sandman Mystery Theater stories. I think it was Wagner. I might be wrong about that. I didn't look it up ahead of time, but those were very heavy noir, and there was no lightness, very little humor at all. This one doesn't have humor directly speaking. But the difference in palette, the difference in art style, and the characters have it in there. There is, it's not as foreboding. It's a little less noir, even though it definitely falls into that 1940s detective stuff. A lot of deco design, but it's not as somber, I guess, even though the themes are every bit as there. So that when I say there's I just like it though. So it's not like as a 1-to-1. It's Venditti's take on it. There's definitely feels a little more hopeful, even though the stakes are really high. So if I was to compare that, it's slightly less Sam Spade and slightly more, or slightly less Hamnet, slightly more Agatha Christie in the styling. The if I have one complaint about the story, it's that the mystery, it's a little red herringy. But so it's not completely satisfying as far as the mystery goes. Um, but it's still really enjoyable to go through the steps. So, but I did really like it. So I highly recommend this book. It's a great book. And if you're out there looking for something that's got a classic detective comics kind of feel to it, go check out Wesley Dawes' The Sandman by Robert Venditti. Should still be on your LCS's shelves. So anyway, thanks for checking it out.